What is going on, everybody? It is Dylan with Astro DFS, bringing you another video. In today's video, I'm going over the Week 6 game spreads that I like. I will talk about all the spreads, but I will give some of the picks that I'm looking at right now and stuff that I already have. So, obviously, the Tampa Bay Philly game is over. I had Tampa Bay at -7. I wasn't fully confident until right before the game, and I just took some money on it. Till this moment, I still can't believe it didn't even pass. But we'll get to the games here. So Miami and Jacksonville playing in England. So back-to-back weeks getting an England game, which is interesting because it seems like England has proven pretty well for football games so far. Miami and Jacksonville, the 3 line. Miami -3, Jacksonville 3-point underdogs. I think it's a fair line. I don't like this at all. Both teams are very unpredictable in how they play. Jacksonville obviously is still trying to break their 20-game losing streak at this point, whatever it is now. Miami should be getting healthier. Should be getting Tua back. Should be getting, hopefully, all of their receivers back soon. Myles Gaskin had a big game last week. But I can honestly see Jacksonville just getting close again, kind of like they did against Cincinnati. To me, it's almost a similar matchup. So I'm staying away. Next is Packers-Bears. As a Bears fan, it's pretty hard for me to talk about this game. I do like Green Bay -5.5. If you get it, I personally use Bet Rivers. They've just always been easy to me. But on DraftKings, it is 5.5. Everywhere else is pretty much 6. So I do like Packers here, although I can see Chicago kind of slowing down Green Bay's offense, and hopefully the Bears' offense can do something against Green Bay's defense, especially with all the injuries. But we've yet to see something like Allen Robinson get over 100 yards, even get close to his 10 targets that he normally got last season. So I do like Green Bay more than I like Chicago as of this moment. The Bengals-Lions. This one's another interesting one for me. Detroit is so damn close to winning a game, and you feel really bad for them. But to go with that, the way they play in the first half, if they played the first half like they did the second half, they would be a good football team. But when they start off slow and have to come back from 14, 16, 17, 20 points, you're really hurting your offense because you're taking the ball away from somebody like DeAndre Swift, and he's very talented, and Jamal Williams at that. And we've seen Cincinnati have a very good rush defense and then also get exposed at the same time. Joe Burrow is going to be a full go. I do lean towards Cincinnati right now at -3.5, although I do like Detroit, it being 3.5, and basically Detroit covering a field goal. I do like, but I'm leaning towards Cincinnati and hoping that Cincinnati offense does play very well. The Texans-Colts. Colts 10-point favorites. Texans have, they are probably going to have a very talked about team for years to come, hopefully. Because what they're doing as a team with the talent that they have is unbelievable. Their record doesn't do them justice for how well they're playing. They should be a team losing by 20 points every game on paper. Easily, against all these teams. But they're hanging in there. I do like Texans +10, just from how well they played against people. But with how good the Colts offensive line has looked, even without Quentin Nelson, and Carson Wentz starting to get a little more comfortable with his receivers, that 10, but 10 is a very difficult number to cover. It's a touchdown field goal. Although I do think the Colts can cover it. We've seen the Texans play pretty good football, so leaning towards Texans +10. That's not a pick, though. We'll start getting into my picks here. The Rams against the Giants. Now, as you can see, like I said, I used Bet Rivers, so I got them at 8.5. I actually have Rams at 9. That's where I got my bets in. I didn't want it to get higher if there was official news of Daniel Jones being out. I felt like 9 was pretty fair, right under that 10-point mark. But Daniel Jones does get cleared, full clear to go. They still are going to be without Barkley. I do believe it's still unclear which wide receivers we're going to get, and the Rams need a dominant game. Now, I did get hurt with Tampa Bay -7 against Philly, which seemed pretty easy for Tampa to cover. And this one seems pretty easy for the Rams to cover on paper of -9 against the Giants. I am going to take the Rams, whatever you can get them at, minus anything under 10 is honestly really good in this game. I think Rams have way too much talent on offense for the Giants to keep up with them. And defensively, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald, it's going to be a rough matchup for the Giants. So Rams -9, anything you can get under -9, 9 or under is very good. Chiefs against Washington football team. Now we have seen both teams play very different this year than last year. Both teams defensively have looked terrible. Washington is the more surprising one. They come in at 6.5 or 7-point favorites. Kansas City banged up quite a bit. I do like the Chiefs here, honestly, at 7 points. Washington has been in there with almost every team so far this season. For the most part, they've kept it close and won. But I do believe Kansas City... Now, I don't like to take the narrative they need to win, anything like that, but I think they're going to start bringing the intensity up. I think we're going to see Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill be the two dominant aspects of that offense, besides Patrick Mahomes, of course. And at 7 points, now Washington and my boy Taylor Heineke can play good and well, and McLaurin, if McLaurin gets going with Taylor Heineke, it's going to be very scary. But I do like the Chiefs at -7 and under. If you can get it at 6.5, I'd take 6.5 because it just feels a little better than getting that pass at 7 if it hits. Next, we have Vikings at Carolina. Now, Carolina did open up as favorites, but with the news of Christian McCaffrey being out, Minnesota getting Dalvin Cook at that, become 2.5-point favorites in this game. I do like Minnesota here at -2.5. Carolina struggled against Philly. Minnesota struggled against Detroit. The thing that scares me is Carolina had a very good first half, bad second half. Carolina beefing up their defense, getting Stephon Gilmore, even though we're not going to see him. But with how well Kirk Cousins can be with not only Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen, but getting Dalvin Cook healthy. We saw what they did with Mattson, but Dalvin Cook brings a whole nother level to that offense. And at 2.5, that is that field goal that I like. And pretty much how I do a lot of my bets is just looking at the outcome and how you could see the game end. And being under a field goal is a number that I do like in this matchup. So Vikings -2.5, I really do like here. Chargers, Ravens, I am staying away from this game because this, if you're going to take a game, I'd probably go with the over. I mean, we could possibly see both teams just have shutdown defenses, play very good defensively, or we could see both offenses flourish. Baltimore I believe they're going to fully clear him. Bateman, so we finally get to see Lamar and Bateman. We don't know how much of it, though. And the Chargers offense is just clicking so well. And we saw them score over 40 points against Cleveland's defense, who hasn't looked as good, but have looked dominant in certain games, the Bears being one of them. I'm staying away from that game. I'd take the over, but that's about it. Cardinals-Browns, now this one's interesting with Cliff Kingsbury being out with COVID. Kyler Murray being banged up. Cleveland is without Nick Chubb already. We don't know the full aspect of Kareem Hunt. It seems like he is going to play, but that's a risk you have to take with betting it right now. -3.5. I do think Cleveland covers this. I think with Kyler being banged up, they're going to have to rely on their run game a little more. I don't think we could see Kyler doing what Kyler has done all season, did a lot last season and just roll and run against this team, especially someone like Myles Garrett. Now, I do think Arizona's going to have to throw the ball a lot more in order to win this game, which does excite me a little bit because we really haven't seen DeAndre Hopkins be the number one receiver in the league like we have in years previous. But I do like Cleveland minus 3.5. Denver against the Raiders. I am on Denver right now. Teddy getting an extra week to be healthy. The Raiders team, who is going to be in their first game without Gruden, I do think Denver minus 4 is very good here. That Denver defense has helped me. They gave me a 3-0 start betting on them. I did not bet on them the 2 games that they did not cover the spread, but minus 4 here against the Raiders I think is a very good number against a team that lost their head coach, is going through different types of feelings about how the whole organization is going to be. So Denver minus 4, with how good their defense is, I trust them against the Raiders offense, and I trust Denver's offense way more against the Raiders defense. Patriots open up as but as of right now are 3.5 point underdogs against the Cowboys at home. Now I do think we could see New England's defense step up, but it's just Dallas's team as a whole is playing unbelievable. Their defense is ridiculously crazy. Damian Harris banged up. That offensive line, we don't know who's in fully, who's going to be there. We saw last week they almost had no offensive line starter-wise. And Dallas's offense is just clicking. They just look so good with Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott being a 1-2 punch. And then just when you think he could stop them, they throw Dalton Schultz in there and use Blake Jarwin. They still have really not used Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb like they did last year when they were having to score 40 points a game to win. And then they couldn't even win because their defense is playing really good. And we haven't seen the Patriots really pass the ball efficiently against teams. We've seen them drive down the field, but we haven't seen any explosive plays this season, and they don't have a whole lot of explosive players. Jacoby Myers is good. Hunter Henry is good. Jonnu Smith is good, but they're not elite guys as of right now. They play a very patient offense. They just try to drive down the field, make you make a mistake, and score. But they're not big scorers. So Dallas minus 3.5 is definitely a pick that I have right now. And then Pittsburgh minus 5 against the Seahawks. Now I get Pittsburgh is banged up. Seattle's even more banged up. Geno Smith, I like Geno Smith. I think a lot of people like Geno Smith, and we were all impressed of what he did last week to keep them in that game. But Pittsburgh minus 5 at home against a backup quarterback, against a backup running back, with their defense getting healthy. Their offense, losing someone like Juju does hurt a little bit in my opinion. I think James Washington is fine. He's not Juju, but he is fine. But Pittsburgh being minus 5, I have them at 5.5 on Bet Rivers, is definitely a play that I like for Sunday night. So that is it for Sunday. I will have, if you guys come back to the channel tomorrow, I have DFS plays for DraftKings, and then I'll probably get another video out either Monday morning or Sunday night going over the Bills-Titans game, so definitely check that one out as well, guys. I will link our Discord down in the description so you guys can check it out. We have a very cheap package that not only includes DFS plays, but we also have bets and props there as well, and you guys can always feel free to ask questions on DFS, fantasy, or betting. So hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I will see you in the next one.